Whoo boy, it has been a hot summer here in Florida. Let me tell you what. It's so hot, I haven't had a range day since July 4th because the temperature on some days is up there in the triple digits with humidity even higher. It's so hot, in fact, you can fry an egg on the sidewalk.
That's hot ground, man.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. President. That's some pretty hot ground. You know what else? The rays of the sun are so fierce, they'll fade the paint on your car.
I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Jesus, man. That escalated quickly. Let's get back to the video. What is going on, guys? I am Joseph, and you're watching Taking Shots. On today's episode, we're going to go over the top 3 guns I think every firearm owner should have, and reasons why I think you should go out and get one, 2, or maybe even get all 3 right now. In case you're unaware, maybe you've been living under a rock, but the government wants your guns. They say they don't, but they do. Even if it's just the assault weapons, they want your guns and what they deem to be considered high-capacity magazines. You don't believe me? Watch this clip.
It also ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in this country. There's no reason someone needs a weapon of war with 100 rounds, 100 bullets. I beat the NRA twice. I got assault weapons banned. I got magazines that could not hold more than 10 rounds in them. I got them eliminated. I was down in southern Delaware, do a lot of hunting and fishing down there. And I was walking up one of the creek beds. And the guy standing there said, "You want to take my gun?" I said, "I don't take your gun." He said, "Well, you're telling me I can't have more than X number of bullets in my gun." And I said, "What do you think, the deer you're hunting or wear Kevlar vests? What the hell you need 20 bullets for? You must be a hell of a terrible shot."
Now, as you can see in that clip, Biden's mentioned he wants your guns, specifically the assault weapons. He also mentions he wants high-capacity magazines. Now, he doesn't say what he deems to be high-capacity magazines. It could be anything over 10 rounds. Some states you can't have more than 10 rounds. You know, I have a handgun that comes with a 22-round mag. That's standard for that gun. In his eyes, that may be a high-capacity magazine, but it's literally made for that gun. It came with that gun. It's not something that some other company made that I put on there to extend it. It's what it came with. That is a standard capacity magazine for that gun. Now, with that being said, here are my top 3 picks, starting with numero uno, the Glock. More specifically, a Glock 9mm and a double stack magazine. That would include the Glock 26, the Glock 19, the Glock 17, so on and so forth. The reason I say double stack, because you have a lot of options with the double stack magazines. Glock even offers a stick, they call it a stick mag. It's a 31 round magazine. Usually it can be found with a plus 2 round adapter on the bottom of the magazine. Stock from Glock, it holds 33 rounds. It is glorious, it is flawless, it is such a great shooting magazine. There's also Korean knockoffs of it. I hear they're pretty good too. I don't get those, I stick with the brand, but you have options, right? Also, with the options for the Glock double stack 9mm, they also have drums, right? This is a drum magazine. Drum magazines can hold 50 rounds, or you can get the double stack drum magazine that can hold 100 rounds. Personally, I recommend not going beyond the 50 round magazine. I've seen too many issues with people having the 100 round magazines in, them falling out of the gun, rounds just flying everywhere, like just total chaos. The 50 round magazines, from what I can tell, work pretty good, so I would recommend sticking with those, or at least having just one in the collection, and then buying a bunch of the stick magazines. I got a bunch of stick mags, I keep them in my backpack, I take them with me when I go to the range. They're almost as much capacity as the drum, but they take way less space. They're just much easier to store in the backpack. Now, the government's not going to want you to have high-capacity magazines, and they're not going to like guns that can support magazines with that capacity, right? But the Glocks are used by the military, they're used by the government, they're used by law enforcement agencies. They're like a dime a dozen, and they're everywhere out there, you know? And the magazines are everywhere out there. And the capabilities are pretty much endless with what you're able to purchase for them, for the accessories. So I highly recommend a Glock 9mm in a double stack for my pick number 1. Alright guys, let's do number 2. I'm not talking about a poop. I'm talking about my number 2 pick here. And that is the AR-15 or the AK-47. The AR-15 is what many consider to be the good guy gun, right? It's the American gun. It is super popular here in this country, just as the AK is super popular in the rest of the world. Because of that, it's often considered the bad guy gun because all the extremist groups and wars, they tend to use the AK-47, not because it's a bad gun, but because it's such a good gun. They choose that gun because it can be cheaply made overseas, and it is extremely, extremely reliable. More reliable than the AR-15. Now, I know some of y'all might disagree with me there. You know, please go ahead, write in the comments how it's like the most amazing gun you've ever shot, you know, and worked on and built and all that stuff. But the reality is they're both really good guns, and that's why they're both at my number 2 pick. They both have a standard capacity 30-round magazine. This is my banana clip, right? You know, it's like a big old banana. So my number 2 pick, it is reliable, it is cheap, and I honestly, well, I shouldn't say cheap, they've really gone up in price. It used to be you could get one for like $400, but they've definitely gone up in price. You can get probably a low-end one now, maybe for, you might still be able to get one for $400 to $600, maybe in the low end. But I would say like a decent one's going to cost you $800 and up. But this particular one, this is my Zastava M70. I love this gun. It has the cheek riser. It's got a lot of nice features on it. It's got the iron sights, but it also, I put a rail on it so I can put optics on it if I want to. It's a great gun, and I don't think you'd be disappointed by adding one to your collection either. And lastly, my number 3 pick. I believe you guys should get a semi-auto 12-gauge shotgun. My IWI Tavor TS12. If you've watched my previous videos, I've mentioned this before. Phenomenal gun. It's got 3 magazine tubes in it, and it holds 5 rounds in each magazine, plus 1 in the chamber. So you get your first round, you shoot it, and then you got 5 more rounds in the magazine to shoot. And when you go through those 5, you press this little doohickey right here, and then that allows you to turn the tubes. And then the click you hear is it auto-loading the next round automatically. You don't gotta cock it back again. It's ready to rock and roll just by twisting the tube. 5 more rounds, press the doohickey button, releases the magazine. You got 5 more rounds, right? So 15 plus 1 rounds in a very short, compact gun. It's definitely something to get in your collection before they get banned. So the TS12 shotgun I just showed you uses a rotating cylinder fed tube style magazine. But another option to go with is something like this. This is my AK style gun with an actual mag-fed magazine. This gun is a Vepr 12. Unfortunately, they've been banned already because it's Russian, you know. America doesn't play well and with Russia right now because Russia's not playing well with anybody. So these guns are banned, and because of that, this is just a safe queen for me right now. But many people have guns like this. The Saga 12 is also another option. Might be a little bit cheaper than the Vepr. They're both banned, but there are a lot more of the Sega 12 shotguns out there. People get them, they trick them all out, try to make them nice. They basically try to make their Sega 12s into what this comes stock from the factory. It's got a lot of nice features. I don't have to turn the gas on it. It's self-adjusting automatically. It is magazine fed. It comes with a side folding stock. It has a adjustable cheek, whether you're a left hand or a right-handed shooter. It's adjustable. The only problem with mine is because when they shipped them in the country, the company thought they had to weld the stock shut, so it actually has weld marks to try to be compliant. I believe they found out later in the years that they didn't actually have to do that to be compliant. So I think some of the models that came in like a year or two later than the one I have fold without having to cut the weld. But I could always cut it if I wanted to. It's just these are super rare to come by, and I didn't want to gash up the gun by trying to make the cuts on it, because I've seen a couple out there on the market and they were sliced up pretty bad. But as you can see, this comes with just a little small baby 5-round magazine. They also make them in a 8-round, I think a 10, a 12, there might even be a 15, I can't recall. But, and this is really cool, they come all the way up to a 25-round. This is a 25-round drum for my Vepr 12. Pop that bad boy in there. You know, this is a great gun. It's on a great body because it's an AK. You know, I love AKs. They're super reliable. So why not have a AK style 12 gauge? Well guys, that is it for today. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. So please, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, hit like, please subscribe, hit the bell notification. It helps me out tremendously, guys, really. And I'll catch you all on the next video.